Yo guys, it's Mez here and welcome to another video. Today we're talking about Daredevil Born Again episode 8.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Stay calm! Wait.
And bro, this episode was something else. If you've not seen my previous Daredevil videos, I will leave the link down in the description below. Make sure you check that out before watching this video. Before I go into my top moments of the episode, I noticed throughout the episodes already that there's been clash in terms of creative ideas. Episode 8 seems to be the most refreshing in terms of creativity. That's probably to do with the clash and the overhaul, but I'm really glad that episode 8 is what we were expecting from the show. Now let's get right into the top moments of the episode. Bullseye is back. I knew I'd see him again and things are heating up. It was so cool to see him at the start of the episode with the blue rose, which we referenced the blue suit that he wore in the episode 1 at the beginning of the show. One thing I also noticed throughout the episode is there were multiple times where the color grading changed to blue, as I mentioned, which I thought was quite smart because there are scenes directly involved with Bullseye. We see that he's in the prison and that he's been moved from protective custody now to Gen Pop. We also pick up right from last episode with Vanessa and Wilson discussing the actions of Luca. Wilson wanted to show something in particular to Vanessa. We also get a shot of Matt staring outside of the window, just like in episode 1, and the similarities were amazing. It's like we're still seeing the same theme of contemplation, but with a completely different outcome. We also deal with Heather and Matt's complicated relationship throughout the episode, after the unfortunate events of episode 7 when Heather killed Muse. Despite the fact that Daredevil actually saved her, she's still putting him in the same category as Muse, which really pissed Matt off. He's starting to really see the truth that the soul system cannot prevail anymore. Again, like I mentioned in my previous videos, we have two parallel scenes showing simultaneously, both with showing different stories with similar themes and motives, and both slowly unveiling their true characters. One common theme is secrets being kept, which I would explain, and both events ending differently, hence the parallel term. So the first scene, we see that Buck, Fist's right-hand man, knocks on Heather and Matt's door to invite them both to a gala to celebrate the launch of their Red project. Matt ultimately realized that Fisk was a client of Heather, and he starts to rebuke the idea. Heather did not tell Matt that, hence the secret. Remember when I mentioned that I thought Wilson would show Vanessa? Well, that's exactly what happened here. He showed her Adam, and that was a secret that he kept from Vanessa. I'm glad they showed the painting that Wilson and Vanessa had on their wedding night from the previous show, which is another example of symbolism, that the painting is what united them and that their love is stained by blood and violence. Adam was forcing them to be let go. He promised he wouldn't say anything, but Fisk wanted to send a direct, clear message that he kept his word to Vanessa and is haunted by his existence in a way that was conveying that message directly to her. The endings were that Vanessa had to kill Adam to eliminate the problem, and Matt considered attending the ball. Wilson vowed that he would never leave Vanessa again as their love grew stronger, yet Matt and Heather's love hangs in the balance. Matt learns about Bullseye's news and is convinced that this was no coincidence, that Bullseye wanted to speak with him directly, and that Wilson Fisk is behind his transfer. He's slowly starting to return to his old habits and is becoming more noticeable. We return to Wilson and we start to see that he's changing his habits as mayor. His anti-vigilante task force is showing more promising results, and as a result of this, he promotes Daniel to deputy of communications as he believes he's a go-getter and is doing well to manipulate BB Urich to fabricate stories on his behalf. And another thing that I liked is that Matt is literally taking zero shits anymore from anyone as he calls out the dude who was literally lying to him about the case. It's a powerful line also that he says to Kirsten after the thing that basically said, "We're just babysitting chaos," which basically is a further justification for the return of Daredevil. Matt returns to Josie's diner to seek clarity on what he has to do. He goes back to where it all began in episode 1. He wants to seek answers on what he has to do. He catches up with Josie, enters Cherry. He basically wants to stop Matt from doing what he's doing. He's determined to do so. Matt believes that there must be more to the transfer of Bullseye, and there has to be a connection to that. Upon doing so, Matt realized something very important. When Josie poured a glass of L.O. Melvinese, which is a whiskey, she tells Matt that this was for his last order before he died. Matt realized something. He realized that he celebrated his case early. He knew he was going to win, but someone silenced him. Yes, I'll reference this in a second. We then fast forward to Bullseye and Matt meeting in prison, again with the blue color grading. Matt is trying to interrogate him to find out the truth behind Foggy and who was behind this transfer. At first he believes it's Wilson Fisk that starts to press him to get answers. I really like the sarcastic, funny Daredevil where he's like, "Oh, sweetheart."
Answer that for you. Sweetheart, what do you want? You want What do you want me to do? You want me to get you out? You want me to file an appeal?
A very important quote was said by Bullseye. Good men defend their worst enemies. At the end of this encounter, Matt smashed Bullseye's face on the table, and that's it. Savage Matt is back, guys. Now we enter the ball. We see that Daniel's thriving in his new position. We get another appearance from Jack, the swordsman again. Enter the power couple Vanessa and Wilson is wearing the white suit as he did in the season 3 of the previous show, and Vanessa in red, even though it was a black and white event. Symbolism much? Post Bullseye and Matt's meeting, Bullseye is now in the prison hospital, and he basically loosened his tooth as a result of getting his face smashed in. He literally spat his tooth into the guard's eye, and he finished the rest of the guards in typical Bullseye fashion. Once again, blue color grading, foreshadowing that he's gonna suit up and cause some chaos. We see afterwards that he disguised himself as a prison guard and that he escaped on the bus, and yep, he wants to come to the ball. Now back to the ball, and enters Matt, and we get that epic music. He's walking in with purpose, and shit is about to go down. We get a nice little exchange with Wilson and Matt, and also Heather spots Matt, but clearly Matt is not focused on her. He has a clear goal in mind, that's to get Wilson. Instead of focusing on Heather, he literally was overhearing the conversation that Wilson and Jack had about funding the project. Wilson threatened Jack as he knew that he was a swordsman, and he would get the anti-vigilante task force to go after him if he didn't follow his orders. I won't go too much in detail about this, but there was a member of press that was spotted, and anti-vigilante task force took matters into their own hands. However, one important thing after this event is that BB Uric and the commissioner talked, and we learned what BB's true motives was. We know that BB Uric knew about Ben Uric's murder and that Wilson was a prime suspect. This is a bit worrying, as I don't know what will really happen to them at the end of the season, but they're going into dangerous waters now. Post Matt and Heather's exchange, Matt basically says, oh, I'm gonna go up to him and ask him myself. And as Matt walks up to him, Wilson and Vanessa take the dance floor. We get a really nice moment where Wilson was literally talking to Matt, and Matt was just overhearing him. We get a really funny moment where Matt was basically telling Heather that Wilson is a monster, and Wilson proceeds to throw gunshot signs in the air. Pure comedy. As a result, Matt takes Heather to the dance floor, as this was the only way they'll get a conversation. From this moment on, the situation intensified. Wilson Fisk told Daredevil about the consequences of his actions. Buck also learned that Bullseye escapes and informed Wilson Fisk, which confirmed Daredevil's suspicion. Bullseye at this point has now entered the ball. At this point, I'm on the edge of my seat. I don't know what's gonna happen. Vanessa wanted to confess something to Wilson, but Daredevil was listening to a heartbeat. He realized that something was wrong, and he knew that he had to speak to Vanessa. He realized something very, very important. He realized that she was responsible for Poindexter, and she was the reason for Foggy's death. Daredevil cut in the dance, took Vanessa separately so he can talk directly with Vanessa. Upon doing so, Wilson Fisk was talking to Heather and slowly unveiling Matt's secret. We then see someone on top of the building with a sniper rifle, and then we see a blue color shading again. Oh shit, we know who it is. It's none other than Bullseye. I literally don't know what's gonna happen. I was scared. I'm like, who's going to die? Who's gonna get shot? Again, we get the two ongoing conversations as they slowly unveil the truth. One about Matt's secret and one about the truth about Foggy. Matt is still listening, making sure that nothing is happening. As Matt told Vanessa that she was responsible, Vanessa responds and says, does Heather know about Daredevil? Even though it wasn't a direct response to his question, it still was a subtle yes. As Matt overhears, he hears something crucial. We get a really cool shot where the aspect ratio changed, just like it did in episode 1 when he heard Bullseye reloading his sniper in episode 1. Holy shit, I'm so scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. We see that the sniper Bullseye has is aiming directly for Fisk. He shoots it, but Matt steps in the way and protects Wilson Fisk. And then we're left with a massive cliffhanger with a theme of, instead of blue color grading, it is red, and Daredevil is lying on the ground just as Foggy was in episode 1. Wow. I literally don't know what to say. Now I'm going to go into my predictions and thoughts on the last episode of the season. Man, this episode was peak. I loved the shots in this episode. Very, very comic book style. I love how everything is becoming full circle. It just shows how good the writers are. And it goes to, why is Matt stepping in to save Fisk? I believe he wanted direct confirmation and could not let Bullseye destroy the mayor's image. Remember when I said earlier about the quote that Bullseye said to Matt, good men defend their worst enemies? How that became full circle in this shot. We obviously know that Daredevil's not going to die because, you know, he's Daredevil, it's his show, and we're gonna see him with Punisher in the next episode. I think we will get a moment where Daredevil is like talking to Foggy in like a dream sequence to motivate him, because he's literally placed in his shoes. It would be weird not to have that confrontation. Punisher will most definitely return in the next episode. I'm really looking forward to see what they do with that. I'm gonna get a really epic fight scene. He'll most likely help Matt stop the Fisk's anti-vigilante task force, as they basically pretended to be him. We still haven't solved who killed White Tiger. I think we'll find out in the last episode. I think it was personally Officer Powell, but what if someone more shocking killed him? I think that would bring it more of a shock factor to it, but you know, let's see what happens. And guys, will we finally see the return of Karen? We've literally had 0 Karen since episode 1, and with Punisher coming back and we're learning the truth about Foggy, it's just at this point it sort of seems inevitable. And as I said, will Foggy return, or at least be shown as alive? I think this will happen. I think this will set up season 2, and yeah, it's looking really good. 468. Oh, this is looking more and more real. My final thing is, will Heather find out about Daredevil? I think she will, and I think it may lead to her demise. Unfortunately, I don't see her as a character that will be in Daredevil's life for much longer. At this point, she's pretty much holding him back, so we'll see what happens. That's it guys for this video. Leave thoughts in the comments down below. See you guys for the episode 9. Again, if you guys liked this video, make sure you drop a like, hit the sub button, tap the bell, and I'll see you for the last episode of the season. Take care.